Some gifts don't come wrapped in boxers. Sometimes, the greatest acts of love are left out in the cold, waiting for someone to find them. As the words on your screen tell us, true kindness doesn't seek a name. It only waits for cold hands to become warm. This is the story of a silent spirit. It was a cold, misty Thursday morning when the coats first appeared, 15 of them, hanging silently on the chain-link fence outside Lincoln Elementary. They weren't old rags. They were high-quality winter jackets, in perfect condition, swaying gently in the biting wind. There were no notes, no explanations, just coats. Waiting. The school principal, Mrs. Morse, was immediately suspicious. She thought it might be a prank, or worse, stolen goods. She picked up her phone and called the police, her face a mixture of confusion and concern. Amidst the cautious whispers of parents and teachers, one little girl stood apart, shivering. Her name was Kayla Martinez. She was 8 years old. Kayla's mom, a night janitor working double shifts, had told her they just couldn't afford a new coat this year. So, to fight off the freezing morning air, Kayla wore 3 thin shirts, one layered on top of the other. Her small body was huddled against the cold, but her eyes were fixed on the fence. She saw a vibrant purple coat that looked just her size. It was beautiful. Hope and a touch of shame wrestled in her heart. She walked closer, her small hand reaching out to touch the soft fabric. She turned to her PE teacher, Mrs. Alvarez, her voice barely a whisper. "That one? Can I have that one?" The air was still. The adults looked at each other, unsure of what to do. Then, Mrs. Alvarez broke the silence. She put a warm, reassuring hand on Kayla's shoulder and smiled. "Take it," she said. And in that moment, permission was granted not just by a teacher, but by a shared sense of humanity. By lunchtime, all 15 coats were gone. 15 children who used to shiver in the schoolyard were now wrapped in warmth. The mystery didn't end there. The following Thursday, 20 more coats appeared on the fence at the community center. A week later, 30 coats were found hanging near the city shelter. The phenomenon spread. The local media picked up the story, dubbing the anonymous donor the spirit of the fence. No security camera ever caught the person. No one posted on social media to claim credit. Families who received the coats expressed their profound gratitude on the local news, but their thanks were directed at a shadow, a ghost of kindness. No one knew who it was. The mystery remained unsolved until March. An elderly man named Earl Hutchins, who was 71 and lived alone in a small, humble basement apartment, passed away. As neighbors and distant relatives began to clear out his few belongings, they made a strange discovery. On a small wooden table, they found a massive stack of receipts, hundreds of them, all from local thrift stores. Earl had spent his entire disability check, month after month, on second-hand coats. His nephew, while sorting through a dusty box, found a small, worn diary. An entry from 2004 revealed a heartbreaking story. Earl wrote, "I lost my son to the cold. He was homeless and too proud to beg. He died behind a dumpster, wearing only a t-shirt." The words on the page explained everything. "If I hang coats on a fence," Earl continued, "those who are too proud to ask won't have to. They won't have to face the shame of begging. They can just take what they need. Their dignity remains intact." He had created a system where people could receive help without ever having to ask for it, preserving the one thing his son had held on to so fiercely. He was the silent helper, the spirit. The man who understood that the heaviest burden isn't the cold, but the pride that keeps us from seeking warmth. My name is Kayla Martinez. I'm 16 years old now. That purple coat, now faded and a little worn, kept me warm all through 4th grade. It was more than just a coat. It was a shield of dignity. No one ever knew Earl was the spirit of the fence. He passed away before anyone could say thank you. The world never got to celebrate the quiet, gentle man with rough hands and the kindest heart. Last November, I got my first job. With half of my very first paycheck, I went to a thrift store. I bought 6 coats, and one cold evening, I hung them on that same fence outside Lincoln Elementary. Soon, my friends joined in. Then, their parents started contributing. Before we knew it, our high school organized an official coat drive, not for a charity box, but for the fence. Tonight, that fence is overflowing with over 200 coats. Someone has tied a small, hand-painted wooden sign to the wire. It reads, Earl's Fence. His legacy isn't just in the warmth of the coats, but in the chain of kindness he started. He showed us that the best helpers are often the ones who work silently, in the shadows of love, expecting nothing in return. His spirit is still here, a quiet invitation hanging on a fence, waiting for cold hands to become warm. Thank you for listening. Let's remember to not only be kind, but to create ways for others to receive kindness with their heads held high. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more.